Success is often treated like a lottery, something that happens to you. But the movement of wealth is governed by a simple, mechanical transition, the shift from passive asking to active contribution. For years, a man lived at a local railway station with a very specific routine. He spent his days watching travelers rush toward their destinations, hoping that a few would stop long enough to drop some change into his hand. Economically, he was a closed loop. He consumed resources, food, space, and attention, but he offered nothing to the thousands of people moving through that station every day. Relying on the pity of others created a ceiling on his existence. Without an exchange, he remained outside the system of growth, waiting for a variable he couldn't control. This pattern broke when a well-dressed businessman stopped in front of him. The man reached out, expecting the usual interaction, but the businessman didn't reach for his pocket. The businessman looked at the open hand and said, "I am a merchant. I only believe in transactions where both sides benefit. Currently, you are offering zero value, so I have nothing to pay you for." This forced the man to look at his situation through a different lens. He had been viewing himself as a victim of bad luck, but he was actually a participant in a broken economic model. How much of your current frustration comes from waiting for a break or a favor, rather than identifying what you can actually contribute to the people around you? A bank account with no money is a temporary state. Poverty is a long-term result of remaining in a role where you only take and never give. He looked around the station and found a resource no one was using: wildflowers growing along the edge of the tracks. They cost nothing to harvest, but they represented a small, tangible improvement to someone's day. He gathered a small bouquet and changed his approach. When someone offered him a coin, he didn't just take it, he handed them a flower in exchange. The response from the travelers shifted immediately. They weren't just discarding change anymore. They were walking onto their trains with something they valued. Look at the data. His daily income moved from a flat baseline to a consistent upward trend solely by introducing a product. When he ran out of flowers, his income returned to zero. They were paying for value. The market is indifferent to your story. It only rewards the specific, useful things you bring to the exchange. When the businessman returned to the station weeks later, the man was waiting. He didn't ask for a handout. He held out a flower and waited for the merchant to make an offer. The businessman smiled, paid for the flower, and told him, "You aren't a beggar anymore. You've become a merchant." That one word, merchant, replaced the internal label he had worn for years. He realized that if the world was paying him for a service, he was no longer a recipient of charity. He realized he didn't belong on that platform anymore. He gathered his things and left the station, deciding that if he could sell one flower, he could sell 1,000. What is the free flower in your life? Whether it's specific knowledge, a small skill, or reliable effort, what can you start trading right now? You cannot change your environment until you first replace the label you use to describe your place within it. 6 months later, 2 businessmen sat across from each other on a train. One was the original merchant, and the other was the man who spent the last half-year building a growing floral supply business. It wasn't an empire yet, but the former beggar had moved from picking wild weeds to renting a small stall and establishing a supply line with local growers. He was now traveling to meet a new distributor. He explained that his previous failure wasn't due to the station or the travelers, but to his own misunderstanding of how the world works. He had been trying to bypass the rules of trade. This is the law of reciprocity. When you push value out into the world responds by sending capital back. By reinvesting those profits into better inventory, he turned a single transaction into a repeatable business model. Sustainable growth only begins when you stop looking for shortcuts and start looking for ways to be more useful to more people. The results you see in your life are often a reflection of how you approach the market. If you approach it as a taker, you receive the bare minimum. You have the choice to stay small by waiting for others to notice you, or to grow by taking responsibility for what you offer. If you are ready to stop waiting and start creating, type "I am a creator" in the comments. Like this video if it gave you a new perspective, and subscribe for more. The moment you stop asking the world for a handout and start offering a hand up through the value you create, you change the very nature of your relationship with the world.